Welcome back, guys, and in today's video we got a package in from EMALLA ELIOT tattoo cartridge needles. I'm pretty excited about this, guys, so let's waste no time. Let's get the knife out, let's open this box up and see what we got. Alright, dang. Rip it open. So guys, I'm going to be using these needles for the next week or so to check them out. But some of my initial thoughts were just how smooth the membrane was. It just moved so flawlessly. The other thing was the wiggle. There's like zero wiggle in this needle. Also, it's very light and transparent, which are all things that I happen to like. Now, I haven't put it in and out of a tattoo machine yet. That's to come. But it's time for me to go check these needles out, put them to use, let you guys check it out, and then we'll come back. I'll give you my final thoughts, and we'll see where these lie. Alright guys, so I started this off with a 5-round shader. Some of my favorite lining comes from a 5-round shader. And I have to say, it went in the skin nice. It ran smooth. As you can see here, we're running a bit of a speed up here. Obviously, this isn't the pace at which I'm moving. I sure wish it was, but it's not. Nonetheless, I'm running a 5-round shader and I'm putting it in, I'm running the line, and it's crisp, it's smooth. What I love the most and what you can feel from these needles is that these needles were extremely sharp and just made the job that much smoother. Now this is where I think these needles really shined. I liked them for lining. They were fantastic. They did the job. But what I noticed with the first few strokes of this needle, these mags were just, again, how sharp they were, how accurate they were, how very little amount of needles were being shown. I could get a very smooth shading out of these. Now, again, these are bug pin needles, so the needles are going to naturally be tighter, a tighter diameter, and all of that. But I use bug pins every day in all that I do when it comes to my mag needles, but nothing has really been this sharp. There's a couple that have been on par, and I'll talk about that later, but it was just beautiful to use, extremely sharp. Now, in the course of this particular tattoo, I used a 25 curve mag, a 15 curve mag, a 7 curve mag, all bug pins, a 5-round shader, a 5-round liner. Now, this was the first time I had ever used these needles, and I was extremely happy with them, but I wasn't sure if that was it. So the next days passed, I did some color work, same mag needles, same lining needles. I used a 9-round shader, some other different variations, but even in color, in black and gray, in lining with round liners or round shaders, it just worked. And for once, I thought, you know what, I really need to rethink my needle game here because of how much quicker I felt like I was able to move, how much more accurate things were, and just all around how much more enjoyable it was to use them. This was the final piece there, and there were plenty more, but let me give you my final thoughts. After using these needles for about a week or so now, and I have to say I love these needles. I thoroughly enjoy them. Now, my favorite needle, especially for a mag, has always been the quadrant needles. They've always been like the best for me. When I want the softest, smoothest shading, I go to the quadrant mags. Is usually what I use the most. Now, here's the problem I'm running into now is that the EMALLA cartridges are the same quality, if not a little bit better. My shading, the smoothness of it was just wonderful, and that comes down to the sharpness of the needles. So if we take a quick look at the quadrants next to the EMALLA, you'll see that they're pretty much very similar. Their membranes look pretty similar, their build look pretty similar, different colors. The cutout's a little different, but all in all, you're looking at a very similar needle. So why not go with quadrant? Well, if you go and look at the pricing on the two needles, you'll find out quickly that EMALLA is a slightly less expensive needle. So instead of spending $40, you might spend around $30. So there is some decent savings there. The other thing that I really noticed was packaging. I am a big fan of the way these needles open up. You just slide them open and grab what you need. Now, this is where things get even more exciting for me. Now, it comes down to the little things. When you have a needle that is super sharp, goes in and out of your machines nicely, fits everything you have, well, you start to, really dive deep. What else do these needles have? What don't they have? Well, again, they slide open very well. The next thing might sound really petty, but it is nice when you're grabbing needles every single day. That is the fact that these just break right off. It takes little to no effort to get them to snap off. They open very easily. If anything, you can just push them right out of the paper. They pop out. This is every single time. The other thing I've noticed with these needles is that the membrane has not broken on me. I don't know if you've had needles in the past where you're using them and all of a sudden the membrane just breaks and you got to use another needle. So you end up burning through more needles than you need to. I had no membranes break. I had nothing. These felt good. They stayed sharp. I was thoroughly impressed with them. When it came to lining, the lack of wiggle in those lining needles and those round shaders just made the job that much easier for me. I laid the needle in and boogied, pulled out. The line was crisp and where I wanted it to be. Over time, I have started to realize that the machine that you use is important, but the needles you use are even more important, especially when it comes to time, when it comes to the fine details, when it comes to really honing in and taking your work to another level. The quality of your needle is going to make a huge difference. Many companies have sent me many different needles. By far, my favorite needles I've used, from purchasing my own to people sending me needles, the best I've used, and I look forward to using them. Go check these needles out, link in the description. I know you are going to love them if you try them. Again, the best needles I've used, and I've used a lot from the mid-range to low range, all the way to the best, and these are my favorite, currently, hands down. But again, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, make sure you ring the bell so notifications are turned on, so you know when we post. Nonetheless, till next time, my friends, peace.